Welcome to the Impactors Podcast. I'm Corey Carter.
And I'm Ron Cool.
And we are the owners and founders of Hindsight HacKing Media, agency, podcasts, funnels, graphics, and more. Head on over to gethhm.com to learn more.
Guys, we created this podcast to help you go create an impact today. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, today. We're taking all the fluff, all the BS out so you can go create an impact.
And today's topic is
visibility and your strategy for execution.
That's right, Ron. You know, when we first started our online journey, we started without a strategy. And I still recommend that because the best time to start is today.
Correct.
Right. And so today, if you don't already have your strategy, don't wait till tomorrow to figure out your strategy, but start with your kind of publishing avenue that you figured out by listening yesterday. And so whatever that avenue is, that vehicle is that you're going to publish on, start today. But then after that, you need an actual strategy to execute at a high level.
Correct. If you're going to publish on two platforms, how are you going to actually accomplish that? Are you going to have to set up time I'm just going to talk about batch recording of a podcast, right? So we set up.
Who does that?
Probably us right now. That's what we're doing. We're batch recording a bunch of podcast episodes, right? And we will drip them out over the next month or two. But guess what? It's very planned. There's a strategy behind it, and it's taking people on the journey that we want to take them on.
Correct. And so at the end of the day, and this goes for everything. Again, for our podcast, yes, we want a strategy of how the journey that people are going to go on for the podcast, whatever that publishing is. But it goes into social media,
right?
And I think about when we first started to try to build followers for our social media in the past, we were doing quotes, we were doing random things that had no value, nothing to do with our actual business. It was just random getting a presence out there, right?
Correct.
We didn't gain much traction from that.
Correct.
Because we didn't have a strategy behind it. There was no call to action behind it.
Right.
And so I think that's where it's important to see and really map out a bigger picture of when am I giving value? When am I giving content? When am I asking questions? When am I just randomly going to do a Facebook Live because I'm on Facebook or whatever it might be, right? It's just mapping it out. And we do this for people all the time with their podcasts when they launch. And that is 100% part of the reason that every single person that's launched with us has hit the charts.
Yep, 100%. And guys, think about it. When you're making content, who are you making the content for? Yourself or your ideal client? What does your ideal client want to see? Maybe different than what you're producing. So before we talked on a past episode, we were attracting the wrong people. So we had to adjust some of what was coming out as content, and our strategy had to change so we could stop attracting those people.
Yep. Yeah. And when you have a strategy too, it's almost like do you have a dream or do you have a goal?
Correct.
And if I have a dream until I write it down, then it can become a goal. The same thing with your plan on visibility, right? You can say, I want to go live every single day, but then if you don't make the actual plan and have the strategy behind what you're going to talk about, what you're going to do, what you're going to say, then you end up actually not going live because it's hard to think of on the spot.
Right.
And so if you actually just have the plan of what you're recording, it can make the world a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. If your planning will help you create the strategy and your execution, and then you know what? It all circles back to everything that we do. So Corey and I will set up a time. We schedule time to plan certain things. Then we schedule time to go execute said things. And then we also leave gaps, different conversation, different day. But Your strategy has to give you the time to actually execute what you said you're going to do.
That's right. Okay. So action step. What is something that somebody can do today to help with their strategy for execution?
Look at your content. Sorry. And understand if you are talking to you or if you're talking to your ideal client, right? Who are you trying to attract? So do a social media audit and see what your messaging is. And if you were your ideal client, would this messaging attract you? Yes or no?
Yeah. So an audit of this current social media, and then again, do you know what you're going to talk about tomorrow, a week from now,
Plan it
a
out.
month from now?
Yep.
Right? Like find a way, and we have a 12 months of content planning session that we can do with folks. We have different sessions that we can do to help people get to where they want to go with this type of thing. But it is a dream until you map it all out, right? And you'll spin your wheels and you'll be all over the place if you don't actually plan out the strategy. So pay attention to a little bit of this podcast, right? Like there's 7 episodes in a row that we're talking visibility. Do you think that happened by accident?
I doubt it. Or we're really lucky.
Yes, there could be some of that, but it's all about the planning, right? Like, okay, how can we make this show worthwhile for folks? And part of that is we had to plan what topics do we want to talk about? How can we make an impact for you? And how can you make an impact on your business, right? And so this is kind of the steps that we're taking. There's 7 straight shows that have visibility as part of that stuff. And guess what? We'll talk about traffic to your offers pretty soon too, right? Or sales, right? Or goals. So all this stuff, it all ties together. And I can say all those topics because they are mapped out, ready to go. Ron and I just have to record them.
Absolutely. But you know what, guys? Corey mentioned the 12 months of content. We will make sure there's a link down there. If you want help with that, we're here for you. So 2 action steps. Take an audit of what you're messaging out there, create a plan. And if you need help with the plan, reach out to us. We're here for you.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. No BS, no fluff, just impact. Go make some.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more, head on over to impactorsmastermind.com. We have a special group waiting just for you.
Guys, why are you still listening to this? Get off your phone, go create an impact today.